Good morning. Welcome to another episode of the Dunn Wisdom Morning Show. I am your host, Melissa P. Dunn, CEO of MD Marketing Network and founder of this Dunn Wisdom movement, where I absolutely love introducing you to people and concepts that not only move themselves forward, but also move our community forward. Today, we are having another Power Player conversation with someone I spoke to at the very beginning of the pandemic. We're going to check in with her to see what her life is happening, what's happening in her life 1 year later. Now, I know if you're like me, you've had to pivot. There's been a lot of changes happening in America over the last year, not only with us being in a global pandemic, but also the social unrest that's been happening throughout our nation. It's been a lot of ups and downs emotionally and financially for a lot of us. So let's check in with our guest today to find out how she's doing 1 year later. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together and give a warm Dunn Wisdom a welcome to Miss Donna Mairs. Hey, Donna, welcome to the show. Oh, I forgot I muted you. Hold on, girl. Let me unmute you.
Hi.
And the dog is still barking.
I know, I'm sorry, I have a dog that's crazy sometimes. However, hello, everybody. I'm glad to be back again with my very dear friend, Melissa.
Welcome to the show, Donna. So for those of us who may not have seen the original conversation, give us a little background. I know you and I go way back. I'm going to mute you while I talk. You and I go way back to my days in Miami at Circle One Marketing in like 2008, when you were the sales rep and you were at Hot 105 at the time, right?
Sales manager. Yeah, I was a sales manager for Hot 105. Yeah.
And since then, you've transitioned, you've gone into national sales. Give us a little bit of your history so that folks who perhaps didn't catch the first conversation a year ago will kind of know where you were.
So I started my career in advertising and marketing. That's what I know. That's what I love. Started out at a big advertising agency in New York, got into radio. Actually, radio brought me to South Florida. I apologize for my dog barking. And came here with Clear Channel to do national sales, and then moved over to Hot 105, which was my favorite radio station at the time. And then that's where we met. We started doing business together, and oh my God, my dog, sorry. And then pretty much, I decided after that, things, happened in life. And I went into magazine. So I worked with Laurel Media in Weston Magazine in Doral, and then they sold to Lifestyle Media Group, of which, due to pandemic, business was really bad. I'm no longer working.
So before we talk about that, so your background, really, your bread and butter has always been in media sales, right?
Correct. Advertising, media sales, correct.
All right. And those skill sets that you had in sales, you've really made millions for other people, have you not?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I started out at a big advertising agency in Madison Avenue. That's my big, that was my first intro into the whole field of marketing. So I worked with big accounts, learning how to place millions of dollars worth of advertising with TV, radio, all traditional media. And then I decided to go on sales because I could make more money with commission. So that's kind of like it.
All right. It's so interesting because I believe that no matter what profession you're in, whether you are a doctor, a lawyer, or a commissioner, that sales and enrollment is a skill that you need in order for you to be successful. Do you agree?
Absolutely agree. Absolutely. Every aspect of your life, and you learn something new with every place that you've been, or every circumstance or situation you're in, you learn something new, a different aspect.
Fantastic.
In New York, it's a different market than South Florida. So yeah.
Yeah. So Donna, we spoke at the very beginning of the pandemic. You were at Laurel Media in magazine sales. So having gone from the agency side to radio to print, you really had a very comprehensive view of the media landscape. So what happened with you during the pandemic? What's been going on?
So like everybody knows, pandemic was a major hit for everybody, whether you're in automotive, whatever your industry is, restaurants, especially hotels. People had financial difficulties. Some companies went out of business totally, and some people who were advertising decided that they didn't want to put their money in advertising anymore because they were just trying to stay open, you know? So on that note, obviously my business suffered, and in a weird way, you know, I, like everybody else, either moved on, tried to do something else, got laid off, or whatever the story is. And I decided it was, instead of looking at it as a bad situation, I looked at it as an opportunity to go within myself. As a matter of fact, I just turned 60 in March. So
listen, wait, hold on, back up, girl. You do not look 60. Stop lying, yes, Donna.
60, girl, yes, 60 and budding. 60 and
nice.
Budding.
Yes. Very so well seasoned 60. I love it.
Yes. So with that being said, I decided, you know what do I know best? I love my clients. I love making them do well. I love just to help people and their businesses to grow, because at the end of the day, their business helped me to grow, you know? So I decided I wanted to launch my own company, and that's kind of like where I'm working on. I'm working on a lot of different projects right now. And because of the pandemic and because of a lot of things that happened, I've also pivoted into some different, focused on some different community aspects, and one of which
before you go into that, I want to kind of just say, at 60 years old, getting laid off from your job, in the middle of a pandemic.
Yeah.
Walk me through how that felt for you before you decided to make the mental shift. What was going on with you at that time?
You know, it's kind of weird. It was tough because I never expected business to be that, you know, you have your clients and it's a double emotion. My first emotion was, my clients are suffering. They're not coming back on because they can't afford it. And then the other thing is like, okay, now what next am I going to do to help to do that? So you have to be patient. You have to be thinking about them first. At the end of the day, people are human, you know, and no one expected or experienced this type of a pandemic to affect so many people. And it affects people not only financially, but mentally and emotionally. Especially watching it on the news 24/7, how many people have died, over 556,000 deaths all over the United States. Actually, it's a global issue. So it was heart-wrenching for number one, and number two, because I was older, like, now what do I do, you know?
Yes, I can imagine. And then, you know, what you said was so important, because I've always experienced you as a relationship seller, meaning that you build relationships with your clients, and it was through those relationships that you were able to find out what they truly needed and match them with the right product.
Right.
And so even in the midst of your own suffering, in the midst of you trying to figure out, well, shoot, what am I going to do for my own livelihood? You were also concerned about your clients, who were people that you had real relationships with. Correct.
And listen, Melissa, it is not only the small people that suffered. I had doctors, major industry, the automotive industry, everybody suffered. The luxury market suffered, you know? So, you know, a lot of people is thinking about the small people with their little mom and pop shop or restaurants, but major hotel chain, major restaurant chain, hospitals, major category, automotive, you know? So yeah, it was a major effect on our economy.
And so then you decided to pivot.
Which
is, to me, like the word for 2020.
Yes.
You pivoted, and at 60 years old, became an entrepreneur for the first time.
Correct.
So tell us a little bit about your new business, Donna. Wait, before you do that, let me check in with my co-hosts.
Sandra, is she in?
Wait, hold on. Let's check in with my co-hosts, the audience. Good morning, everyone. Good morning to you too. And then who is this? Lady Latoya James. Good morning, Jay. Good morning, Sophia. Thank you for tuning in. Good morning, Mrs. Lopez. That's my mommy. Good morning. Thanks for watching, Mom. 60. Listen, 60. You see what Mommy said? 60 is a new 30.
Miss Lopez, you're absolutely right. I don't feel any different.
60 is a new 30. I love it. All right, Miss Joy. Thank you for watching. Morning blessings to you as well. 60 and budding. I love it.
Yeah, that's my new word, 60 and budding.
Yeah, I really think so. Pivoting at 60 is such an amazing thing. So tell us about your new venture.
So with all of my experience in marketing and advertising, I decided to open up my company. Obviously, I took a little thing off of my last name. It's called Mairs Marketing and Consultant Group. And so that's kind of like what I'm doing right now. I'm focusing on placing media for small or large businesses, anybody, because that's kind of like where I have almost 40 years of experience doing. So I do traditional, digital, experiential marketing. You know, that's kind of like what I do. I do a lot of integrated programs for a lot of our clients. I consult with people. And what's good thing about me too, I give a lot of free advices. So sometimes, you know, that's kind of like what I do. I figure if I give my knowledge, things come back tenfold.
That's it. Listen, I always say the truth, which is that abundance is a cycle of giving and receiving.
Right.
And that's what's made you such a successful salesperson, Donna, is because you do give so much. And it is based on what people need. It is based on relationships. It's not necessarily a cookie cutter piece, right?
It isn't.
All right. Good morning, Vice Mayor. Thanks for tuning in. Great energy. Congratulations, he says to you. Vice Mayor Harn from the city of Oakland Park. Thank you for watching.
Yes.
Yeah. So you started your company at 60, and I know that you are consulting, or rather you form an alliance with another person who started her own company at 60.
Yes. So this particular person actually was a client of mine.
What?
Yes, she was a client of mine, and like you said, you know, Donna, my clients become my friends become family, clients are families like you are. And so I make sure I look out for my people, and so she just had a birthday in August. I had she turned 16, and I did it in March. So
okay,
and we're
let's bring her to the table, to the party. And we'll talk about what it feels like. But before we do, let's just recheck in with my co-host. Yes, Miss Joy. It is. And then here is another example too of you again practicing this cycle of giving and receiving in your abundance by collaborating with Sandra. So Sandra, welcome to the conversation, my friend.
Good morning. Thank you so much.
So tell us about this collaboration that the two of you have going on in your new ventures, because each of you started a company at 60, right?
Correct.
What were you doing before you started your business, Sandra?
I was in sales and marketing as well. I was directing sales and marketing for an organization, a venue that ultimately closed because we didn't have any business. So like Donna, I was left wondering, okay, what next? And after almost 30 years of being in sales and marketing and promoting, I decided to start my own company as well.
Oh, fantastic. So what's the name of your company?
SDF Consulting Services.
Okay. And so you're both from sales and marketing background. So now you both got laid off at 60 during the pandemic. You both decided to start your own business at 60. So how are you guys collaborating?
So Donna and I decided that we're going to do something that can help people. Our main goal is to help others. So we decided, you know what, let's put our forces together. Let's decide what we're going to do to help others. And one of the things we discovered, because I personally had to discover that, when you lose your job, all of your benefits go away except for your pension. You lose your health, you lose your insurance, you lose everything that you need to live the rest of your life unless you get another job. I, for one, I have a son and I have granddaughters. And I decided I'm not going to go back to a 9 to 5 or a 9 to 7, or I'm not going to do that anymore. I want quality of life, but I want to do something that'll help others. So we decided to get together and look at what people need, especially now in this time. And we're now embarking on, I'm doing life coaching, business coaching, and insurance and financial services. So Donna and I decided to work on the insurance and financial services together so that people can have an understanding of what they need once they lose their job and they're not covered, they're not secured, their family's not secured. What can we do to help them? And that's what we're working on.
I love that. And so, so you're bringing your sales and marketing skills plus, I'm so fascinated by this because a lot of times when people think about starting a business, they forget to start with the need and the problem that they can solve. Why, Donna, did you decide that one of your verticals is going to be insurance?
Well, obviously, like she said, when you lose your job, you lose a lot of insurance. But the most important thing was, I talked about making sure that not only are we pivoting, but we're also putting out our tentacles to see where we are and what's needed. And every day I was glued to the TV with the pandemic, the murdering, the healthcare, most of our people on the front line of the pandemic, they were the ones who were suffering the most and dying the most. And guess what? Most of these people did not have life insurance. And what was happening is that they were dying and people were trying to raise money on online. And I'm like, wow, this is like a totally, it's like pivoting in a direction where I'm trying to help people because of what is happening in our society right now. But more importantly, as it affects our generation and our people right now.
Got you. So help me to understand, so how you guys your business has been open for a couple of months, I'm assuming, right? Since Donna, you and I spoke a year ago. What has that been like for you as a brand new entrepreneur at this stage in your life?
For me, Donna?
Yeah, for each of you. Yeah, I want you to tell me what it's like for you being an entrepreneur at this stage of your life.
Well, first of all, it was scary. I'm going to be vulnerable.
Yeah.
And it's like, what now? And you have 10 million things coming at you at once. You want to do this, you want to do that, you want to do this, you want to do that. Like, focus was one. And guess what? Sandra helped me to be focused because she went through the thing before me. So I've been calling Sandra and she goes, Donna, calm down. So we were kind of like helping each other to stay focused, calm, and kind of like, be there like a rock for each other.
I love it. Women supporting women. What was it like for you, Sandra?
Well, when it first happened to me, I knew I didn't want to go back to work for anybody else at this stage in my life, right? I'm getting close to retirement, and to start over again a new company and give them 10 more years and then get retired when I'm old and can't do anything for myself wasn't what I wanted to do. So I thought about it. I sat around for a while and I toyed with different ideas. I know what I do best. People. I do people best. And then I decided, okay, I'm going to do something that can help people. I had to help myself first, though. I had to cover myself.
Wait, pause. That is such a powerful statement. You've got to help yourself first. You've got to put on your own mask first. Fill up your own cup and give from your overflow. Give from your overflow. That's powerful.
Absolutely. And once I did that and I felt better, I was strong in what my thoughts were and what I needed to do, then I said, okay, I can do the same thing for others that I did for myself. One of the things I did for myself was to create generation wealth. That meant I had to cover myself with insurance. I had to make sure if anything happened to me, my son was not going to do a GoFundMe. He wasn't going to go out there and ask people to help me. Not that. So what I did was I got myself life insurance. I got myself moved around some money and started saving towards the future, because I want to leave a legacy, not just for my son, but for my grandchildren. And then Donna and I were talking about that. And I said to her, you know what? There are people who need that kind of help. So let us put together our minds and decide to help them do that. And that's the whole auspice of what we're trying to do right now, is to help others leave things for their family, generate wealth for their family, leave a legacy. And we can do that by reaching out to the community for those who don't have that right now.
Got it. I understand that, but I want you to tell me a little bit about what it's like for you emotionally now that you're on this journey. What's happening internally?
Emotionally, I feel good. Here's why. Because I'm building that foundation for my grandchildren, they have become my focus. I spend my time with them. The reason this morning I'm just getting on, later on, I wake up every morning at 5:30. I make my grandkids breakfast. I take it to their house. I feed them, clothe them, and take them to school. If I'm working a 9-to-5 job, I can't do that. So it's brought me closer to my family and my friends. So emotionally, I'm feeling good. I'm feeling like I'm being a little more useful to people around me.
Yeah. So it sounds to me, Sandra, like you're connected to your why, like you're connected to your purpose. And for you, the biggest part of the biggest reward is the freedom that you now have to spend time with your grandchildren and to be really very active in their lives.
Absolutely.
Oh, wow. That's really powerful. What are you experiencing, Donna? What's your why?
My why is pretty much the same thing. I mean, obviously, we've done this, given almost 40 years of my services to other companies, and now I want to have the experience, what it is like to do something for myself. What is it like to create my own path, to create my own wealth, and to have the opportunity to do what it is that I love, the pandemic was a pandemic, but was also an opportunity for people like me and a lot of other people to figure out who they really are and to pull out exactly what they wanted to do, for most of their lives, especially.
I love it. So was fear a factor for you at any point in this process?
Fear is always, of course, everybody has fear of failure, but here's the thing. You can't sit back and say, I'm going to fear. What we do is, as entrepreneurs, as business people, I fail when I don't try. So I got to try.
Yes, I fail when I don't try. I love that. I love that, Donna. I love that so much. So what would you say, ladies, what words of wisdom would you have to offer another woman who is facing the challenge that you just went through, being laid off and thinking about starting a business when really they should be focused on trying to retire, right? In their 60s. So we'll start with you, Sandra. What words of wisdom would you have to offer?
Do what you love. Think about what you love to do and do it. Find a way to make it happen and find a way to make it work for your life, for the rest of your life.
Fantastic. And Donna, your thoughts?
Pretty much the same thing. Find that passion. You remember back in the day when you first started, when you were a little girl, what you really wanted to do when you grow up and life took you different places? Well, now, like I say, I'm budding in my 60s and I'm like, whoa, now is the time to say, what have I learned? Where is the new Donna? Where is that little girl? Where is the grown-up Donna? And where do I want to go next?
Oh, fantastic. Well, ladies, congratulations on boldly stepping into the next chapter of your life. And then always thank you so much for continuing the cycle of abundance by giving back to the community through your new insurance venture. And then, of course, the community will give back to you so that you can then both build generational wealth.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for having us. Thank you.
My pleasure. Thank you for joining us again. And so I want to remind you that you can do anything you want to do in life. These two women are a perfect example that it's never too old. You're never too old or too young to live your dream and to stand in your purpose. And yes, give from your overflow. Thank you so much for joining me today. Remember, be kind and loving to yourself. You absolutely deserve it. Be well.
Thank you.